after living 3 years here in Sweden, I feel that I became more stronger and healthier, and my lifestyle is definitely changed. And there are 8 reasons. I will explain you why it changed. First of all, there's a very good infrastructure for bicycles. A lot of bicycle lanes, and everyone is cycling, and I will explain it a bit more later, but I feel like the society itself and like almost everyone around you is cycling, running, or doing any kind of active sport, or anything is like affecting you possibly. So you seeing cycling to work as a normal, like it's okay to go 30 minutes from home to office. And I think this is nice because I've been like I've been thinking as cycling is like fun activity if we go into park and we cycle there or forest or whatever. And I didn't really use bicycle a lot, but I recently bought electric bike here in Gothenburg, and I think it's literally a life changer because now I'm like I can do this 30 minutes from my home to my office because in Gothenburg there are a lot of hills, and for me I think I wasn't really like physically prepared to cycle up to the hill, and it was like very painful for me. But now it's easier, and I still think this is like kind of cardio activity for me because you're still cycling, you still do some job, so I feel it really wonderful. And I think like my body became more stronger because of it. And also when I just bought electric bicycle and we went there, I still like got my pulse high, very like. And still when we just bought bicycles in the first like several roads, my pulse went up a lot, and it was like 170, 165 or something. And after like several weeks of cycling almost every day for work, it dropped down a little bit. But I feel like it's better now, and I'm more capable of going like further and faster and so on. But I think it's not only cycling that is as activity is good for you, but also about being on the nature. When you're cycling, you're not in the bus and you like stay more active, you aren't in the sun, rain or whatever. So like I think this is very nice because sometimes for instance for weekends I don't feel like I want to go outside, and I don't spend a lot of time outside. And especially like working, you work and you sit in the office, and then you go out just for like to commute to home. And if you're commuting by bus, by train, by tram, whatever, it like takes off the time from you being in the nature or being walking. And I feel like cycling is helping it. And yeah, probably I started to sleep better. And yeah, so cycling is very nice for your health. As I've been talking before, a lot of people here not only cycling but they're running as well. And I feel really like proud of people and encouraged by them because I saw a lot of people who are running, and for instance they're a parent and they have kids and they have stroller like in front of them, and they jogging running with the kids. It's very wonderful, and I think this is a good example for kids how like you not need to behave, but like how you could behave, what's the like norm of life, what's their activity lifestyle. And this is what come from parents literally, because my parents weren't into sport or any activities, so it wasn't regular part of my life. in their life before, and then I start to understand that it's like very important for me, and being active, being sporty is something about well-being and about my mood and my feelings. So I thought that this is very nice. Like everyone here is so active, and yeah, of course, it's generalization, and we're talking about, if you're talking about all people, it's not true, but I think most of people here in Sweden, they're doing some sport. And again, if we're talking about jogging, running, there are a lot of marathons here, and I see how people, I don't know, cherished and encouraged to go there to try it by working places, for instance, or any other companies or friends, and they're like, oh, I'm going, do you want to join? And this is very nice. And I think even like in Gothenburg we have several shops that dedicated for like shoes for jogging, and so they like have everything, like all the equipment you need to test your new shoes, like depends on how you're jogging or running. And yeah, I'm not into running yet. I tried, I liked it, but it's I'm more like, I'm more up to do something at home, to exercise at home, than just going out, especially because we're coming to this season, like it's November and it's dark, and I don't like to be on the nature when it's cold and dark. So yeah, I will stay at home for now doing my exercises and just being more active with bicycle and so on. But running was kind of part of my life, or I tried to get this habit to run during summer or during late spring, because it's like a lot of light, sunny, warm, and yeah, just like pleasant to be outside. The other thing about being sporty is to go into gym, and I'm not a huge fan of gyms because I feel like you need to know how to do things there, and I feel a bit pressured. Also, I know that it's easier for men sometimes than for women to go to gym, because like you kind of judged. And I know that here in Sweden is more like gender equal for everyone to go to the gym, but I still think that you as a woman can be like under opinion that it's not for you, or you don't try it, and I don't want to face it. So I'm very nice and calm with my home equipment. But gyms, if you're talking about gyms here in Sweden, like especially in Gothenburg, gym in every corner. We have like Nordic Wellness, 24/7, something else. So I think like almost in every apartment we lived, we had 2 or 3 different gyms nearby. It's like 5 or 10 minutes walking there. And I think this is very easy. Like you have no excuse that you need to go like dress up and go through the whole city to only one gym that suits you. No, gyms are everywhere. And the good thing is that like you as an employer, you have some, I don't know, budget, the money for wellness, and it differs from company to company, but we have 4,000 kronas, I suppose. So you can spend this money on your annual subscription to gym or to any sport activities like swimming, whatever. So, and this money you can spend on whatever activity you like, gym subscription, swimming lessons, or I don't know, yoga classes, whatever really you choose. The other thing I already mentioned is Sweden is very good country to be outside, especially when it's a good weather, but also winter is nice as well. Uh, and all of it because of nature, and I think the nature is very well preserved here. So I think it's like really a pleasure to go to forests, lakes, rivers, to the seashore, and just walk there, swim there, run there. Or if it's winter, you can go to mountains, you can go to north side and experience skiing, skating, and snowboarding. And I think this is very lovely because everything is like almost next to you, and it's so easy. And for instance, I'm a huge fan of swimming, and I'm living near to the seashore, so it takes me by bicycle 15 minutes to go to the seashore. So it's bicycle activities and swimming, then we also walk there, and it's beautiful. I really like it, and I feel like not only my physical health, but my mental health is most importantly calming down, and I settled, and I feel more relaxed and more energized sometimes because of a lot of nature, a lot of forest trees, and there are some rules and restrictions about amount of cars going into the city center. It's not like, I'm not sure if there's like any amount restriction of cars, but there are some restrictions that make it unpleasant to go to the city center by car because it's easier, and we have very nice infrastructure here to go by bus, by train, by tram. So if you're going by car, your personal private car, you will need to pay when you cross the main road to the city center, I suppose. It's free during weekends, but during weekdays you need to pay. I think you need to pay when you come into the town and when you go out of it. I'm not sure, but yeah. And I found that it's a bit parking problem here, and so really, like, if the road takes 15 or 10 minutes for you, you most likely will spend another 20 minutes looking for a nice spot to park your car. So there are not so many cars in the roads within the city, and that leads to good air quality. And I think this is very noticeable if you're going outside of Sweden, and when you come to Sweden, for instance, during flight, and you just come into the land with a lot of forest, and you first like breathe in and you feel fresh air. And this was very, noticeable when I came from Riga to here. Like, we've been on vacation in Riga, and I thought, oh my god, in Riga you feel like you're smoking constantly because there are so many cars. It's, I think, like almost every person there has car, or sometimes, in countries like USA, you cannot use public transport, and every person has their own car, their own vehicle, and that's why there's so like bad situation with air pollution. And I think kinda the same in Riga. It's probably easier and comfortable to go with your own car than taking public transport. And yeah, but here in Sweden it's different, and I think I really like it. And for me it's very important. It's like, it's not big thing, or it's not very tangible, but when you don't have this simple good air quality, then yeah, I know that's sad. Like, I think this is very basic that should every country should have it. So, and I also want to talk more about lifestyle. And before coming to Sweden, I was drinking in bars almost every Friday. We've been gathering with friends, and yeah, so it was kind of part of my life, especially because I was a student back then, and now I'm 26 years old. So I became more mature and more conscious about decision I make and about like drinking, smoking, and so on. So I think this is also affected, but here in Sweden, it's not very affordable to go every Friday to bar, or you only can drink like one glass of beer or something like this, because here it's pretty expensive and you cannot like drink alcohol spontaneously if you want to drink it at home, because I think I mentioned this a lot of times, but here's System Blaget that opens like weekdays and Saturday, but not Sunday, and it closes very early, about 7 or 8 p.m. during weekdays and 4 p.m. during weekend, I suppose. I might be mistaken, but still, this is the point. So if you decided that like, oh, I want to have a bottle of wine for my dinner and it's already 6, you might not get in time there to buy this wine. And sometimes wine is kind of expensive. For instance, like it's not like in Spain you can find 2 or 3 euro for a bottle of nice wine. Here, I think the starting price is about 7 euros. And because of this monopoly for alcohol, bar prices also pretty expensive. I think like a nice cocktail will cost 15 euros, and this is also kind of starting price for it. And yeah, so it's not very like every week occasion. It's more likely for event or the day after paycheck, I suppose, because usually these days full, like the bars full of people. And this also leads to another thing. I started to smoke less. I almost quit it, I suppose, because for me smoking was part of socialization, I suppose. Here in Sweden, there's not smoking isn't really popular, and what is popular is snus, but I didn't like it. I'm not a fan of it, and yeah, I'm not touching this thing, so I'm not smoking almost. And for my previous works and for my previous life in other countries, I could have like a smoke break with my colleague or with some peers, and we'll discuss something during these breaks. And here in Sweden, in my office, I don't think like anyone smoking really. And yeah, this is interesting. So you don't have this idea that, oh, I can have a break from my work and we can like discuss something with my colleagues, because sometimes we've been joking in my previous works that the smoking room is like another meeting, because sometimes you can hear all the gossips, all the news from the company there. So, and here it's not that big. I think the kitchen here is a smoking room, and having a fika, having coffee with your colleagues and having like small talk there, it's more healthier lifestyle. Still, it goes with candies or buns sometimes, but yeah, you're not smoking. And yeah, and also cigarettes here quite expensive, and they're not fancy brands, or not fancy how it's called, like types of cigarettes with filters with flavor, or I don't know how you call this, like you push it like a button and there's some aroma. So there's nothing like it in Sweden, and that's lovely because I think that smoking is kind of disgusting sometimes, and yeah, so I almost stopped doing it. But also, if you're talking about smoking, I think smoking is more to calm down, to relax a bit, and I think like work life balance here in Sweden is a big thing, and almost everyone around me very nice and chill about working, and I feel less nervous here as well and less stressful, because I think before I was very anxious all the time, and here everyone is like telling me, oh, that's fine, like don't be too nervous, don't be in stress, just relax, and then it will like, we will tell you if anything goes wrong. So I felt okay, I have no need to overthink, and that really helped me to slow down, to calm down. So I think this is a very nice part of being here in Sweden, being here in atmosphere of this like people being pretty slow, like in slow pace, not in a bad way, but in the way they're not rushing anywhere. And another fun fact that I think impacts of like health lifestyle is having salad bar. I think this is really nice, and yeah, this is funny because every cafe or restaurant for lunch they have salad bar, and this is something that you can grab your salad for free, or it's like included in the price of lunch, and you will have salad vegetables. And as for me, it really reminded me of taking more vegetables, taking more fiber to, I don't know, to improve digestion, to get all the vitamins I need, and so on. Because if you're going to cafe or restaurant for lunch, it's usually something like, oh, mashed potato with meat, or pasta, or anything else. So it's usually like carbs and protein, but not enough fiber. And I think the salad bars, it makes sense to put fiber into your diet. And if you're interested, by the way, in Swedish food, I have a video for you about foods that I never seen before coming to Sweden. Thank you, puss puss!